What's going on, guys? The title of this audio is going to be titled The Useful Idiot. And what inspired me to make this audio is it's in light of the recent events that happened with that Cenk guy on the Young Turks. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Young Turks is a news show. It's not like an official news show like CNN or Fox. It's some like fucking YouTube news show. And the Young Turks, they are notoriously known for being extremely far left in their political ideologies and talking points. Now, recently the Cenk guy, he's under a little bit of fire. I'll get to that in a second, but I want to kind of describe this Cenk guy. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name right. It's spelled like C-E-N-K. It doesn't fucking matter. But so this guy is known for being very vigilant in terms of feminism and women's issues and always jump into their defense. He's been in numerous heated debates with people when talking about feminism and women, and he's always white knighting, he's always cucking, always excusing women for their wrongdoings, trying to blame men for it and defending feminism. It's kind of pitiful to watch. Now, so that's him in a nutshell. So recently he just came under a little bit of fire for some shit that he said a long time ago. Now, a long time ago, he said some sexist remarks, something to the effect of women in the kitchen making sandwiches. And once that was found out, now those same women that he spent so much time defending, they called on him to lose his job. And magically enough, what happens? He's no longer on that show. He lost his job. And, I need this to be a message to all the other men that are like him. I want them to see what happened with him. And I want that to be a fucking message to them. And the message is that you're not safe. You're not safe. You're not valued. You are a utility. You are used by those women. Because no matter what you do for women, how much money you raise for them, how many times you jump to their defense, what you say, no matter what good shit you do for them, the second that you say or do something to piss them off, they are going to try to ruin your fucking life. They're going to try to make sure you lose your job. If you have kids, they're going to try their damned hardest to make sure you lose access to your kids. If you're married or whatever, they're going to try to make sure that your current wife, girlfriend, whatever, sees what you said and doesn't want to be with you no more. They're going to try to fucking just destroy you from the top down, like all the way. And men need to understand that. And because let's be real, the type of men that, wear the "this is what a feminist looks like" shirt and are always cucking and white knighting and speaking in the defense of women, let's just be honest here, and it's going to be harsh, but it's the truth. 9 times out of 10, those types of men are the men that women just don't want to fuck. They're either, short and chubby, socially awkward, or just not good looking. And I think what happens is those types of men, they become so desperate for female attention that they have to become more vigilant in their approach, because they probably spend a lot of time doing what they were told to do as men to get women. Just be respectful and treat women good. So they do that long enough and nothing happens. So they have to become more vigilant. They start going from the nice guy, just hold the door open for him, be respectful. Now they're marching with their fucking body painted at some feminist rally and speaking in defense of women and wearing "this is what a feminist looks like" t-shirt. They're just going those great lengths. And it's all a ploy to get some pussy. That's all it is. And a lot of the times it will work for these men. They'll be at some circle of oppression party at some feminist's house, and they'll all be drunk, and he'll say something about the patriarchy that she likes, and she'll end up fucking him. No. But that does happen sometimes, but a lot of the times he becomes, what I said in the beginning, a useful idiot. Because the most useful men to women are dumb men, gullible men. And there's a lot of men, a lot of big figures like that. You got the Scent guy. You got that Steve Shives guy. You got Justin Trudeau, the fucking political figure in Canada. You got so many men out there that's exactly what they are. They're useful idiots. And it just became accustomed to them because it's like I said, they weren't getting pussy just being themselves and being nice. So then they had to do all that. They had to sacrifice some dignity, become a male feminist, and then, oh shit, it's working. I finally slept with a girl. And then they just keep the cycle going, completely oblivious to the fact that all they are is utility. Now, that's one approach, that's one option that can happen with men. Or another thing that could happen with those types of men is, you know, they try being good, respectful men, it doesn't work, and instead of becoming more vigilant and being like a male feminist, they just turn into fucking assholes who treat women like shit. Who vow to make themselves completely useless to women. They won't hold the door. They won't sacrifice a single resource, a single dollar to women. They just completely isolate themselves from women entirely. They develop a fucking video game addiction, and I think when they become a male feminist, I think that's a little more pathetic than just isolating yourself completely. But either scenarios aren't very healthy. Now, the useful idiot. So, I want to break down the psychology of these men a little more in depth. Now, and not only that, but like kind of like the nature of women, because first 14 years of my life, I grew up around nothing but women. And after I was 14, I think I moved in with my father, like nearing my 15th birthday. And even when I moved in with my father, since I grew up with nothing but female energy, a lot of the friends that I made at school were females. I always surrounded myself with females, so I spent a good majority of my life becoming familiar with women and their nature and how they think. And, women, they will deny it to their dying breath. But a lot of women like to put on this front, like, they like a nice guy. Like, they don't want the real tall, muscular guy, the bad boy. They want just an average guy that treats them good. Bullshit. It's bullshit. And sometimes they're convinced that's what they want. But, like, have you ever seen a woman that's married to, like, an average-looking guy, and her guy walk up to the cashier, and it's some 6'5" guy with muscles and a real white smile and a 5 o'clock shadow, and you could just look at her face, and you could just tell that she's getting butterflies in her stomach and producing waterfalls in her panties. And because women biologically are programmed to go after men that are best suitable to protect and provide. So naturally, women are attracted to those types of men, the really tall, muscular bad boys. And in our society, and I see it all the time. I see it all the fucking time. Now, these women, when they're young and they're in their sexual prime, and they're used to getting all sorts of male attention, and they're used to men just fucking throwing all their resources at them, they get accustomed to that, and they think that's how their life is going to play out. They think they're not really going to have to work because there's always going to be some man that's willing to support them. So a lot of the times that'll get to their head, and they won't really put too much effort into establishing human capital, into, going to college, getting a career. A lot of them will work part-time because they know fucking John is going to help pay their cell phone bill and shit like that. But that's temporary. A lot of women don't understand this, and they don't realize it until it's too late. That is only temporary, because a woman's looks declines, and her sexual marketplace value declines way faster than a man's does. I don't care what anyone says. And women, they don't know how to take that hard of a fall from grace. You know what I mean? And I see it all the time. Like, it even happened with me, because prior to me joining the military, I was kind of dumpy. I was chubby. And I think I maybe, before I joined the military, I had sex like twice. And both times were with females that were about as equally good looking as me, which wasn't that great looking. But And then, I leave for boot camp. I come back. I got like close to 2G saved up, which, I grew up a little poor, so I never had that much money saved up at one time. I've never had that much money at one time. It was crazy. And come back with a car, and money saved up, and I'm in my fucking uniform. And honestly, during that 2-week time frame, I must have fucked like 4 different chicks. Like, it was absolutely... And these are all chicks that would have never given me the time of day back in the day. And, I remember like a lot of the women growing up that I tried to make a move on and flirt with. But, they were out of my league. That never really stopped me, and they were used to fucking with, the neck tattoos. And when I say neck tattoos, I'm referencing tall, muscular bad boys. But they would always mess with the neck tattoos, right? So, and then, as time goes on, I'm 29 right now. And I'm looking, I cruise through Facebook all the time. And I see these women. I remember how they were growing up, how they wouldn't settle for anything less than a neck tattoo, pretty much. And I look at them now, and, they got like a kid or two, sometimes multiple fathers. They're single mothers, and they always go out and they grab one of those men that they wouldn't give the time of day to back when her sexual marketplace value was peaked. Because the guys that don't really get a lot of a female attention, they have a lot more time to invest in themselves and their careers. So, like, a lot of, like, the electricians, petroleum engineers, a lot of the successful men, they weren't the, tall, muscular, attractive guy. They were the kind of chubby, dumpy guy that was maybe a little awkward, that women didn't really want. And because, let's be real, a lot of these neck tattoos, they go into jobs and careers where they get paid to do something that they enjoy doing. And we all know that most of the time, if we enjoy it, we can't really make a career out of it. Because let's be honest, who the fuck wants to be a petroleum engineer? Who enjoys going out in the field and extracting oil from the earth? Who enjoys being an electrician and possibly getting shocked and killed on a daily basis? Nobody enjoys doing that. People enjoy watching movies, playing video games, shit like that. You can't get paid to do that shit. People join fields like that because they know it's going to pay. Now, the one type of man that is capable, that is able to make a career out of doing something he enjoys doing, a lot of the times, it's these neck tattoo guys. A lot of the times, like, they really enjoy working out. So what are they going to do? They're a personal trainer. Or they become an MMA fighter. Or they do something they like. And in jobs like that, they're still maintaining and peaking their sexual marketplace value. So why the fuck would they stay screwing one chick? Why the fuck would they want to, even though she got pregnant, why the fuck would he want to stick around? He's got like hordes of women that want to fuck his brains out. Why the hell would he want to stick around? So, and a lot of these women think, oh, well, if I get pregnant, he'll stay. No, that neck tattoo is going to go fucking spread his seed elsewhere. So then they have to settle down with these, with the men that they view as undesirable because he's able to provide them stability. He's got a good paying job. He's got benefits. He's got a car. He's got a house. And the sad thing about it is I see this happen all the time. I see it happen all the time. And I always try to warn these men. I was like, bro, she would have never given you the chance back in the day. The only reason she is now is because her options are running out. It's like Louis C.K. said, you're going to be the last branch she can grab onto before she smacks the ground. And, these men, they'll have good paying jobs, ITs, electricians, etc. And they'll get with these single mothers, like I've described. And they're just miserable. They're absolutely miserable because they'll always tell them, I don't expect you to be a father to little, Johnny. I just want you to be his friend. And that lasts for a little bit, but before you know it, he's picking the kid up from school, buying the kid school clothes, paying for his fucking doctor's visits, doing all the things that a father's supposed to do, right up until he tries to discipline the kid or he kind of wants to have a say in the upbringing of the child. Then he's quickly reminded that he's just a stepdad and he needs to stay in his place. And the kids, they don't respect him because he's not their real dad. So, hey, go to your room. Fuck you. And there's that. And then, after about 6 months into the marriage, the passionate sex stops. Then 6 months after that, she's basically just letting him fuck just like so he can get a nut off. And then after the first year of marriage, she don't even fuck him no more. He has to like beg for sex, and he has to lock himself in his room and jack off to Pornhub like he's a fucking 15-year-old boy. And then, she just gets to nagging him to death, spending all his fucking money. He tries to save money. She wants to spend it on shit that they just don't fucking need. Oh, the kids need a new bed set, or I really would like a new table. And then, he's miserable. He's absolutely fucking miserable. And I've seen it on a couple occasions. The marriage just doesn't last. They end up getting divorced. He has to let her stay in the house, give her the car, send her child support, alimony. And then he just, at that point, he spent his life getting educated and working his ass off just so he can get chopped in half and half of his resources go to some whore. Because essentially that's what she is. She's a fucking whore. She whored herself out for stability with the man she didn't want to be with. Now, and a lot of men, they don't understand this. They don't understand that it's very rare that a woman will love you for who you are. In most cases, they love you for what you were able to do for them, how useful you are to them. And that's why with men like that, I call them the useful idiots. These men, that call themselves feminists, these men that spend a good amount of years of their life building a career and getting educated, and entering these good paying jobs, who don't see the fucking fraudulent shit that's happened right before them. They see this chick and they think, oh my God, she looks good. This is like the best looking chick I ever slept with. He falls head over heels, fucking marries her, takes in her bastard kids. And the whole time he's just too love struck to realize that, she would have never gave him the time of fucking day back when she was young, childless, and in her sexual prime. And that there's a 90% chance she's settling because she knows at that point in her life she needs stability. And she finds that in him. And I wish more men would catch on to this before it's too late, because a lot of men do catch on to this, but they catch on to it after they've already been divorced and chopped in half. So now their disposable income and their potential to do great things is compromised because half of their money is going to some whore. It's just terrible. And that's the thing with men. We don't reach out and mentor younger men enough. We don't try to explain to them the female nature and what to look out for. We don't do that. And I do it all the time. I'm always telling, because, in my career, men tend to get married at very young ages. And I always tell them the smartest thing for any young childless guy to do that is in a good career and makes money and has aspirations to make even more money, smartest thing for him to do, it would be to store his sperm in a lab. Now, it's like $500 a year, which ain't shit, to keep your sperm stored in a lab. Do that and get a vasectomy. And never sign a marriage certificate. I feel like if men did those 3 things, they could eliminate like 80% of all the strife that would happen in their life. Those 3 things: store your sperm, get a vasectomy, never sign a marriage certificate. If men did those 3 things, they would have control over their reproductive destinies. They'd be able to decide when, where, and how they have a kid. They would never have to deal with, I'm pregnant. Like, no, it ain't mine because I had a vasectomy. And they would never have to face the possibility of going through a divorce and losing half or more of everything that they've had to work for. And I'm told that I'm radical in that view, maybe so, but in this day and age, men need to start doing that shit. Because women are basically able to make a living off of fucking and having kids. Like, and they know it. They absolutely know it. Why do you think you got these chicks out here poking holes in condoms when they fuck a guy that makes a decent living? Because they know all they got to do is have a kid by a rich guy, and she basically don't have to work no more. But, you know, and these men, like I mentioned, the Scent guy, the Steve Shives guy, the Justin Trudeau guy, you know, those men, they're the useful idiots to these women, and, you know, they make it easier for women, because if you ever notice, these men, they speak out against other men so much, and sometimes, you know, if they're in a position of power enough to do so, they pass laws that, like, benefit women at the detriment of men, pretty much, you know. And with the Steve Shives guy, he's the same way. He's a full fucking beta, and he's always speaking in the defense of feminism, and he's always you know, trying to tell men that their issues don't matter, and that the issues they do have should not receive any attention until every single issue women face has been solved. And, you know, and you could just tell by looking at him, he's one of those men. You could tell he's probably like 5'5". He's just a real fucking scrawny nerd, and I feel like he's just one of those guys that, you know, spoke highly enough of women and defended them enough to where one day a woman wanted to fuck him, and he thought, oh shit, this is how I get female attention, because chances are he was never able to do that just being himself, because he's a fucking short, scrawny nerd. And so he's, you know, sacrificing dignity just to get some pussy. And men like that, they need to wake the fuck up. They really do. They need to wake up and understand female nature, and understand that at any moment they could say or do something that pisses women off, and they will ruin his life. But, you know, I'm going to keep doing my part in trying to wake more guys up so they understand this. I mean, I'll receive a lot of shaming language for it, but I don't care no more. But that's my topic for today. Useful idiots and men needing to have each other's backs, and stop putting so much time and effort into fucking appeasing women. But, you know, until next time, peace.